let's now move forward with your disaster nursing. So some functional concepts on evacuation during disaster. If during hospital evacuation, when disaster occurs, move client in a systematic fashion by moving all clients and personnel closest to the danger first, and ensure fire doors are kept closed as much as possible when moving into each section. For example, that there was a fire in the 4th floor, so you move the personnel together with the patients first in that area. For example, west area of the 4th floor, you move the patients and personnel from the west area first, and then you go to the next area, and then furthermore after the ones closest to the fire. So here, protocol for thunderstorms and tornadoes includes number 1, draw all shades and close all drapes as protection against shattering glass, and close all doors. Yes or no? Is a yes. Okay, but so that when the windows get broken or the glass shatters due to the thunderstorm and tornadoes, we are still protected with the shades and drapes so that the shattered glass will not go to the patient. Number 2, lower all patients' bed to the lowest position. Also a yes. 3, move the bed away from the windows as much as possible. Yes, again, because the windows can shatter and can cause lacerations on your patients. Number 4, place blankets on all bed patients. Yes, okay, because the blankets will serve as the protection. Number 5, get as many ambulatory patients as possible into the hallways. Is a yes, okay. The safest place to be in would be the hallways because it's away from windows usually. Number 6, be prepared to sound the orange alert and use the elevator. Is a no. The phrase use the elevator is not okay because in times of crisis, the elevator can get stuck, and of course, the patients can get stuck in it as well. Okay, so no usage of elevator, only the usage of your stairways. So when dangerous situation arises in the hospital, remember to keep your 3 C's, especially as a healthcare personnel and as a registered nurse. Keep cool, keep calm, and collected so that our patients will not panic as well. When they see that you are panicking, they are most likely to panic also. So your panic, you just keep it within yourselves. So when a dangerous situation arises in the hospital, activate the fire plan by pulling the fire alarm. Start evacuating all patients and personnel from the immediate danger area in a systematic manner. The supervisor is responsible for calling 911 and requesting all available fire and ambulance personnel to respond. So we, not the supervisor, we as the nurses in the unit are responsible for the patients, while the supervisor is responsible for taking care of the personnel by the use of calling the 911. So here, a nurse is called to a client's room by another nurse. When the nurse arrives at the room, the nurse discovers that a fire has occurred in the client's waste bin. The first nurse has removed the client from the room. Now, what is the second nurse's needed action? What should the second nurse do? To activate the fire alarm. Okay, so remember also your race, right? Your race, your what do you call this? Your hold on, I'm so sorry. Okay, so your race stands for letter R, rescue. Okay, rescue the personnel around, rescue the patients. A is activate the alarm, the fire alarm. C is to confine the fire. And E is for extinguish or evacuate. Okay, so remember your race. Next, Oxygen supports combustion but is not flammable. Oxygen only supports the object or the fire and a certain object, but when it comes to it being flammable, it's not. Okay, it only causes your explosive like fire, but it doesn't also cause your explosion. Do not attempt to turn off the oxygen source during a fire when you are alone, because there is a risk for you burning yourself also. So here, let's try answering. A double-pronged electric plug sparked in the room of a client with COPD on oxygen. What should the nurse initially do? So again, we do not attempt to turn off the oxygen source because it can cause your explosive like fire. So we only just turn on the fire alarm system. Okay, initially we turn on the fire alarm. Although that in your race, you rescue the client, but at this point, you cannot go near the patient. So you go for the second one, it's to activate the alarm. When fire occurs, remember to rescue the client, activate the alarm, confine the fire, and extinguish the fire or your race. So here, let's try answering. In case of a fire, the nurse should think what? Through the fire. Number 2, your race, your rescue, alarm, confine, extinguish. Okay? So powder and carbon dioxide fire extinguisher are used for electrical fires. There are different types of your fire extinguisher, and it depends on it depends on the thing that is burning as to how you will use or what type of extinguisher will you use. So here, the red, okay, the red band for your fire extinguisher. This one is for wood, paper, textile, and solid material fires. We never use this one for your electrical or metal fires. For your powder, okay, your powder and your carbon dioxide type of fire extinguisher has the same usage. These are for liquid and electrical fires, and again, we do not use it for metal fires. While your yellow band or your foam type of fire extinguisher is for your liquid fires, but we do not use this one for electrical or metal fires because it will not work. Now, how do we use your fire extinguisher? What comes into mind when it comes to fire extinguisher mnemonics? Your pass, correct. Your P is for pull the pin in the handle. A is aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. First S is for squeeze the lever slowly and to sweep from side to side. Remember guys, we do not aim at the top of the fire because it will not do anything to the fire. The fire is coming from the base. So you have to target it there to turn off the fire itself. So here, trending, your risk assessment. Common causes of injury and accident across the lifespan, your falls and electrical hazard. Causes for your injury and accidents could be for your infant, your aspiration, or your choking. Again, we do your chest, your back blows and chest thrusts for when they have aspiration of foreign objects. For toddlers, again, would be your drowning, falls, sometimes poisoning, but more on your falls and drowning. Preschool to adolescents, they are prone to motor vehicle accidents because they like to for preschool and school age, they love to play outside. Okay, they love to play outside, they love to play with other people, playing with ball, and whenever the ball would go out of the backyard, they usually run after it and they can meet an accident. For adolescents, they are very risky. Okay, they are very excited when it comes to procuring their licenses, driver's license, and being able to drive a car. So they are very risky, they go beyond speed limits, so they are very much prone to motor vehicle accidents. For elderly and other adults who has complications, like your hypertensions, they are very much at risk for falls. In a parenting conference with mothers of toddlers, which of the following topics should be the priority for the nurse to discuss? What should be your priority? For the conference of parents with toddlers, it would be your number 3, correct? Prevention of falls. Next, here, a 6-month-old baby boy was brought to the emergency room. What statement would require the nurse to evaluate further? 1, 2, 3, or 4? It would be your number 3. The grandmother says he bumps himself at the corner of a coffee table. Question, can a 6-month-old walk on their own or cruise? Yes or no? No. So how was he able to bump himself at the corner of a coffee table? Right? It could be a sign, correct, of your abuse. Number 1, the father says he can roll over by himself at 6 months. They are able to roll from belly to back and back to belly. The sitter says he can sit for a few minutes by himself is also a part of your developmental milestones at 6 months old. Number 4, the mother says she feeds him with formula cereal and fruits is okay, right? Introduction of food, of solid food. Next, which of the following clients is at greatest risk for suicide? Following the concept that you had for your age-specific care, who is at greatest risk for suicide? It's your number 3, correct. 72-year-old male with cancer of the prostate. Again, elderly male clients with chronic illnesses is at most risk to suicide, and they are most likely successful uh, in um, in doing their suicidal ideations because we do not see any manifestations or signs of depression with them. Now, with your skateboarding, right? We've talked about this one with your age-specific care. Skateboarding, guys, how do you advise a school-age child to do skateboarding? Do they do it facing the traffic flow, or do they do it opposite the traffic flow? Okay, they do it against the flow of traffic, correct? Because with facing head on with the vehicles, they are able to know whether they are at risk of bumping the car, or if if the car is running towards them, is going towards them, they are able to step out of the skateboard immediately. While with your bike, guys, what about your bike? They go with the flow of the traffic because again the cars should be the ones to evade the bike, because bikers, okay, especially children, tends to get intimidated with cars, causing them to be outbalanced or even bump the car. Okay, so ride your bike with the traffic flow. Skateboarding injuries send 26,000 people to emergency rooms each year in the United States, according to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. For school age children, they are very also excited, very much excited with the usage of skateboards because they would see friends of them who can use skateboards and they want to compete, or they want to also learn doing skateboard because they want to compete with their other friends. According to American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, wrist, ankle, and facial injuries are common because when they fall from the skateboard, most likely they would trip. They would have what do you call this? They would trip over with their ankle, and also when they fall down, they would support their body with the usage of their hands, causing now injuries to the wrist. The American Academy of Pediatrics warns that children under the age 5 should not ride a skateboard, and children under 10 should be closely supervised when using a skateboard. So really, with children under age 10, they need to be looked after still when they are skateboarding, so that someone will be able to also notice if someone is running towards them or a car is going towards them. Now, skateboarders should travel in the left lane of the road or the shoulder of the road facing traffic and move off the roadway for incoming cars. Again, it's very much easy for you to push yourself away from the incident with skateboard. So they can jump off from the skateboard compared with bike. Okay? With bike, you have to step out of it. Now, which of the following safety considerations is appropriate to provide a 12-year-old child who is skateboarding? Select all that apply. Number 1, if you fall on your butt. Yes or no? Is a yes. Next, never ride on the street. Is also a yes. Again, they only go on the shoulder or on the shoulder of the road. Number 3, wear a helmet and protective gears when skateboarding. Yes, the usage of your helmet, usage of your elbow pads and knee pads can surely can ensure safety for your patients or your children who are exploring your skateboard. Number 4, minimize the impact of a fall by crouching down as you lose your balance. Is a yes. Okay, so somehow it would minimize the impact of a fall, especially when they fall on their butt. Okay, so it would somehow lessen it. Number 5, always skate on the straight shoulder facing the traffic flow. Again, yes. 6, go with the traffic flow while skateboarding. Is of course the opposite of number 5. Therefore, number 6 is a no. Okay, now let's talk about your heat stroke. Your heat stroke happens when there is so much, okay, or very high temperature inside the body that the body cannot adjust to it. The body temperature is at least 40.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 105.1 Fahrenheit. This one, your heat stroke, is very much different with your fever. Okay, your heat stroke is the pathologic condition itself. With fever, it is the sign of a pathologic condition. Could be a sign of your heat stroke, could be a sign of your infection. So it's only a sign, but not the pathologic condition itself. Now, here, heat stroke is the most serious form of heat injury and is considered a medical emergency. Which of the following statements is true of heat stroke? Number 1, it is due to blockage of an artery in the brain. We don't give antipyretic for heat stroke. We can only do measures to decrease your temperature. Number 1, is it the blockage of an artery in the brain? No, it is caused by the rise of the temperature, but not the occlusion. What do you call the occlusion? That's your ischemic stroke, right? Not your heat stroke. Next, number 2, it can be prevented with increased fluid intake or hydration. Yes or no? Yes, that's why we would always advise our patient if there is an increase of temperature outside, we advise them to bring water so that somehow the heat of the body will simmer down. Number 3, exposure to hot weather can trigger heat stroke. Of course, that's where it usually comes from. Number 4, it is not fatal. Is it not fatal? It is. Okay. 5, a hypothermic blanket can be used for treatment. Yes. And number 6, it is a form of fever. No. Okay, we actually, like I said, right, we only promote measures to decrease the temperature of our patients by using hypothermic blankets. We can somehow pat them with a cold towel. But when it comes to it, when you want to decrease the temperature of your client in 5 minutes, we cannot also do so. We have to decrease it gradually. Now for your accident prevention, here, when is the most appropriate time to change a baby's car seat from the rear facing to front facing position? We've talked about your car seats earlier.